Dev. Dev never changes. Well, that shouldn't take time. It's fine that that took a while. Just continuing from where we left off. Now, I realized something betwixt streams. Namely, I realized something that I missed. Where is it? Oh, it's just tucked in right. I literally missed it because it was just so short at the bottom, I guess. Yeah, because that's the last one I did. I didn't make exports.json. This is kind of the easiest one. What? I'm going to leave that out and then worry about it when it comes back to bite me. Why did I have to put some EM fiber threads crap into here? Well, anyway, let's just pretend like I didn't see that. Yeah, so basically I'm just going to need an array of all of the declarations as an exports file. So I'll start with probably libavn, I guess. Make E. Perfect. Great. Thank you. There is no input in this case. This is critical. This is the one where we really need the components. Like, that's the entire point. Not all of these are going to actually be exports. The file system functions aren't exports. The meta functions aren't exports. The accessors are exports. There's a little bit of repetition between these various makers, but yeah, I just haven't found a better way to do it. Huge apologies for this sound. I believe that should be correct. Freers are exported. Copiers are not. Those are in JavaScript. And then the actual output is just the JSON stringify of that. Oh, make ES6, fine. That looks about right. Okay, so next step, we need to actually use all of those. Is this the way I want this to work? Yeah, probably. I think pre.js is actually unchanging, right? Yeah. Locate file, script loading stuff, that doesn't need to change. Okay. So, here's the problem. Like post.js, this now depends on the input name, so I can no longer say, like, just post.js here. I'm going to have to then go into... So one step at a time. So I'll look for e-flags and put on post.js manually. Ugh. So post.js here is build post, and now I'm going to have to make a, I guess it would just be this, right? Oh, no, that's written like that, .js. So I'll have different versions of post.js. That should be, yes, that's the only place that e-flag shows up, so that's post.js. I will, of course, have to change where it's made as well. Is there extern post? No. And extern post, yeah, okay, this is just the overall maker. It doesn't need to be changed. Although I guess I could remove the file system stuff from that, but for the time being, these are in source now. You know what? Tools, make, star. So let me just keep in a notepad the parts that need to be worked correctly. So exports.json, libav.js, post.js, and types.d.ts. I'll worry about using them first, and then I'll worry about making them. So similarly here, like this can't be an e-flags because it's going to be different exports.json. Oh, right, and of course I'm going to have to... Ooh. Oh. 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 Well, I guess I'm always going to build the entirety of FFmpeg even if I don't link it all in. It's inefficient, but yeah, I don't know what else I would use as... Well, I guess I could use libav.util as my... Okay, but for the time being, I'm building them all anyway, right? Wait, configs, fragments. Yeah, I think that within this, yeah, I don't even... Yeah, that's right. In FFmpeg, you can even ask it to not build AV codec or something, so that's fine, even if it's maybe not ideal. Right, but now this is not build/exports, it's build/exports name. That's unchanged. This is now post-name. This is just fine. Bindings will have to change. I'm not actually convinced. Okay, so that settles the use side of exports.json. Right. Oh man, libav.js is going to be a hard thing to look for. I don't think... okay, at least it's libav-version.js. I'm gonna rename this. This is a bad name. It creates too much confusion. Uh, I'm gonna. I think in the README I have a name for it. It's the front end. There's the front end, the factory, and the back end. Um, so that is the front end. It always has been. Uh, Oh, and I guess yeah, since it is the front end, there is no ingestion of it. It's only built. Yes. Okay. Okay. So I'm just going to have to distinguish between libav-version dot and libav-version hyphen variant dot. That's not the worst thing ever. So, right, this input should now be interesting. Since the version is burned in, I guess it still makes sense for this to be dash version. Fine. Wait, this is not what I'm thinking this is. This is target extension for front-end builds. I even used the correct name. I guess this is just to say, well, wait, damn it. I'm so confused by this having an explicit .wasm in it. Like instead of .asm or something. Like, is this just to say you do need to also build the back end for the front end to make any sense? This doesn't seem to actually use the back end. And this requires building the back end anyway. I don't think this is necessary, and I think it's a confusion, so I'm going to remove it and then regret that. And now we want front end some particular version. Right, so this is now a bit silly because the what I called config, but is actually called variant. I know it's unfortunate that it is .config there, even though I always call it variant otherwise. And look, I call it variant here! Yay, consistency! Anyway, where that should actually be being done is in make front end, where I definitely take in the variant, right? Yes. And yet I'm currently not doing that. What's the other thing? Oh yeah, the JavaScript suffix. Okay. So this part is simply not necessary. That part still is. Right, okay, so this is just the no version name in the name version. That's fine. This is the full front end. Sorry, this is not the front end. This is the back end. Back end. Back end. Back end. Back end. Back end. Okay, this is the whole complicated build rule that previously used apply func. So let's just go ahead and have all of my rules for all of the built source files. So build exports .json depends on configs/config/name/components.txt and source actually no source there, just funcs.json and tools/make exports.js, and you just run tools/make exports with the target name into the target. Front end, and this is front end with a version .js figs components and funcs and source/frontend.in.js. Correct. Source frontend, yes. /make frontend.js. Tools/make frontend.js. Oh, but the front end is the one that requires a ton of components. Oh, right, and there's a .js and a .mjs. Wait, where does the .mjs even get dealt with? I would have expected that to be here. Oh, I guess I'm guessing it used to make both, right? And so there's a bunch of like implicit rules effectively. Right, okay, because this is on the target, I see. So I previously, it just automatically did both, but now it's going to only do one at a time, and that's fine. Okay, understood. Which actually is fine. So what order does this take its arguments in? I believe it goes variant, version, and then the suffix. Yes, indeed. Variant, version, and then the suffix. And the rule for the MJS, no reason not to mix in this part. Like, I can now do these at the same time instead of being ridiculous. What is going on? Oh, I just hadn't put .mjs on there yet. Okay. ./build? Really? Oh, I see. Yeah, that makes sense. So actually this depends on build frontend .js. It has to build the JavaScript one first. Interesting. These lines are getting too long. I don't like them. What did I just do? Okay, so that depends on the JavaScript version of the front end and all the same crap as ever. So this makes that temporary. Is there... No, I was about to say, can I just mix these together? But no, because this actually needs to load the ES5 version for silly, ridiculous reasons. Okay. I believe that to be correct. I am far from convinced, but I believe that to be correct. No. You know what? I don't want the type rules to be specific in this way. That's not how I want the type rules to work. I want there to be the same type rules regardless of which components you actually are using. And it's just that things that aren't in your version aren't in your version. The types themselves should all be there because the types aren't part of what's like downloaded. So what I'm going to do instead is for component in the funcs. So I actually just do every component. Oh, which means that, oh, I guess I'm not, yep, I already removed the part that uses the arguments. So there is actually a single set of types. So that does not depend on the config components. It depends on funcs.json and make/doxygen.json and tool/make. The hell did I name this tool? Types dts.js. And then there's just one set of type rules for all, rather than some bizarre eclectic mix. Now, I guarantee you this isn't just going to work, but to figure out what I am still missing, I'm going to need some more steps. Turns out I just guessed one of the things I was missing. Okay, let's make clean. What a da 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 da! It's already completely busted. Yeah, unfortunately, that just means that like something among all of these somethings is not not going through. So, oh, that's wacky. That's certainly wrong. Don't update the make files. Okay, certainly. There we go. So I can probably go with this, yes. That looks fine. That looks potentially fine. That looks fine. That looks fine. That looks fine. These are all front end so far. I assume that once it tries to do the back end, then things will go wacky. Yeah. Just looking for the first case of like a file name that's clearly nonsense. Huh. Are my front-end rules inconsistent? It always has the version and then the component, so how did it get so confused? Yeah, somehow the version number got mixed in. It happened late. Yeah, it's trying to even put in like the .asm.js. So that suggests that I accidentally mixed my front end into my back end somewhere. This is all just front end. And the back end, you know what? Here's the thing to do. Maybe 6571 default dot send dot, or it would be debug asm.js dot asm.js. Yeah. How about if I just ask for this? So other than the fact that it's busted, it did at least attempt to do the right thing. Source, oh, right. tools make front end. There we go. The input file is no longer libav.js, it's frontend.in.js. Okay, so the front end is building correctly. The back end, it's getting confused. And it's just that the front end and back end have similar names that's causing it to get into some horrible loop. Right, so once it's like failed to match this, then it's like, oh, well, maybe I can build it as a front end. And yeah, it doesn't know how to do that. So let's look at this. Like, can it not do this? It can do that. So why'd you give up on this? Okay, let's see. To build this, it needs that, which is what I just checked. This, which it can do. This, which it should say nothing to be done. This, which it can't do. God damn it. Okay. Now, this is sort of the easiest case because default is, of course, going to include everything. Well, this is certainly exciting. Let me, in another tab, think about some of the things that I know I'm going to have to change still. When I link things, yes. So that whole link fflib really shouldn't be a thing anymore. Is this complete? Yes, other than the fact that libs.txt is going to need more stuff. Yeah, all it has right now is the target. it's also going to need the FFmpeg version and the variant. I realize I have $ things inside of quotes, or in single quotes. Don't worry, that does work. This is makefile level versus shell level. It is a absolute nightmare. Now, with that, yeah, this should be linking all the libraries anyway, so I shouldn't need any of those. Which means, ultimately, I shouldn't need this whole rule that I created before. And by the way, this will fail. That's not where I expected it to fail. Oh, yeah, that is where I expected it to fail. Yeah, exactly. Whoopsie poopsie, that's not a name. Yeah, so that's literally exactly what I was just fixing. Whee! Really? 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 Where are these? Did I... Like, there aren't underscores on this, which seems distressing. AV dict free. Okay, the underscore is there. So this just is removing the underscore to actually try to link. So where is AV dict free defined, if not anywhere that I'm attempting to link to? Unknown option to S. Oops, oops, oops. I'm in a little bit of an abstraction hole here. Sometimes you make abstractions to make the code better, but if you get too many layers of abstraction, then it just becomes impossible to understand. Oh, good. Nothing is fixed. Has AVUtil. Build base default start of a codec. The device, AV device. Is there a reason why the allocators would be under AV device? Wait. Frame3.js, these are... Oh, okay. Oh, these shouldn't actually be in exports. That's the problem. I thought the frurs should be in exports, but no, those are defined in JavaScript. In fact, what I need is that for each frur, I export the equivalent non-JavaScript version, which may also be exported separately, but, you know, it's fine. So here I am specifically exporting the thing I need not to export. Good for me! Brilliant! Well done! The real test, of course, will be, can I now make, say, something that has demuxers but no libav codec or anything else in it? Like this is the easy part so far. But I think before I can really test that, I still have, a little bit of modularization to do because my bindings won't know how to exclude the bindings that they don't actually use. So libav_util is always used. I think, the way to do this is going to be just to have a C flag that says whether it's enabled, which I think I already did, right? I did that for SW scale. Yep. Yep. So all I need to do is the same for AV codec, AV filter, AV format, and something for AVFC bridge. Wait. libav.js with AV codec equals 1. Really, printf? There we go. Okay, AVFC bridge is a weird one. So if we're using AVFC bridge, I think the way I want to do this is, yes, partial AV codec. No. The way I want to do this is full AV codec if I actually have the full AV codec. AV filter. AV format. I don't for now need it for AV util, because you can't do anything without AV util. In fact, I don't even have an AV util directory here, because I just always link to AV util. And I guess I may as well have it for software resample, even though I don't directly expose any of those symbols. So that means that I now have all of the necessary flags for my bindings to be careful. And in fact, I'm going to do this a different way. This is the whole reason why I put this in here. The AV util part of the bindings, they can just stay. AV frame, yes, is part of AV util. Making sure I didn't just F this all up. Okay. Wait, here's what I need to do. Yeah, that's right. I'm including C files within C files, because I'm a baller like that. Now, the tricky thing here is, for AV codec in particular, I also have this full thing, right? Ooh, I botched that, didn't I? no idea why I decided to do that with printf and thereby make it much harder on myself. It was just like completely avoidable self-own there. Full AV codec. So AV codec itself and context are only there. Did I consider AV codec descriptor to be full or not? It should be full, probably. Codec descriptor. No, I consider it part of the bridge. That makes sense, because this is, it's just the description of a codec, so that you would also need for a format. So, going to native here, codec parameters, AV packet is there regardless, AV packet side data, and here, we're back to, yes, full AV codec. Not if def, just if. Okay, that's going to be the weirdest case, I hope. Because everything else doesn't have this full partial distinction. It's only a weird thing about AV codec. Having these quite noticeable headers is now a little bit silly, given that I literally just do, if I have that, include this other file, but you know. It's not 2024 any 2020 more. AV filter. Is it have or with? Did I just botch that? With. Oopsie poopsie. No deep reason why it should be have or with. I just happen to have used with when I defined software scale. Oh, this is interesting. That I actually want to expose regardless, which is ridiculous. Okay, right. So I used to expose those symbols, but this is like the ultimate test. I shouldn't need those symbols anymore. Actually, that's interesting. I don't actually have to expose anything. I just have that one function. So it's not really worth having a separate software scale file for that. Similarly here, although I guess I shouldn't need this anymore. Do I even expose with CLI anywhere? Did I just write that assuming I would want it and then never use it? So, this is nothing. That's just gone. Did I have... Yes, I do have a separate CLI thing here, so did I do that correctly in my configuration fragments? No. Theoretically, that should be right. Do I have anything else here that I actually done? This, I think, is entirely unavoidable because that's just creating the thread. Why is this other bindings? This is AV format. What in God's name was I thinking? This is madness. This is Sparta. Other bindings. Where by other, I mean AV formats. Utterly... This is also AV format. What the hell? What was I doing? This is weird. Just check my logic here. Yep. Utterly bizarre. And then, yeah, this should be... what? This is so weird. This is, like, properly strange. These just all belong somewhere else. They're all here. I guess it's because they're, like, quasi-bindings. They're not technically binding... Well, I mean, they are bindings. They're just not, like... binding JavaScript to C so much as binding one way of thinking about JavaScript to one way of thinking about C. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So just to explain what's going on in case anybody ever, in case anyone ever sees this, like a bunch of C functions for libav take like a pointer to the place where they're going to put their return, and being like ret here, and that's wildly unhelpful in JavaScript because you don't have pointers. So I have all of these _JS functions that just do it separately and then yeah, don't write into a pointer. So it's not technically a binding in that it is actual like separate code, but it is just to bind from one way of thinking to another. These are all really AV util things. And I guess, yeah, the ones that I had under the section, say, AV util, were more like, well, but then I have this, so never mind, it's just nothing. It's just nonsense. It's all just nonsense. There's no logic. The logic is, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm happy to consider this stuff to be distinct. Okay. Let's see if I can still build. My bindings are now botched all to hell. that extra dependency won't be necessary just to check if the build works, but it's good for, being able to update things. So at this point, I'm still not really testing anything in that I haven't actually removed any of the components, but the next thing to do will be like, what if I just have AV format and the format context bridge so that AV format is useful? Well, looks like I botched it. Okay. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. I'm confused by the fact that this suddenly caused a problem, but yeah, my source map probably expects that. Yeah, not to be under source. I have no idea what made this suddenly a problem and not a problem before. That should have been a problem the last couple builds too. Yeah, okay. Do. Oh, this is lovely. Okay. Just a random, unrelated problem. I guess probably the way the bindings compiled, since it was only in one file, it just happened not to put in the source maps. So mumble nonsense. Anyway, let's try making one of these fancy schmancy only AV format configurations. I guess web codecs is an interesting example of that. In fact, I am already doing this because if I don't have AV filters on, let's see, I think this is, I called this mostly parsing because I think I actually do have, yeah, I have the full codec for 32-bit float, which is a good thing to have. Like, there's, it's good to be able to do that. So I don't want to break web codecs. I'm not going to say strictly demuxing because I'm actually going to have demuxing and muxing. What do I want to call this? The thing is, I don't want to just mutex means mutual exclusion, not multiplex demultiplex. This is obviously not going to be every format in the world, but I'd like to have sort of the obvious ones. Common formats, whatever. So, AV format I need. Okay, time for me to rattle off what all the common formats are. WebM, obviously. That implies Matroshka. MP4, obviously. OGG, less obviously. AVI. The various other MPEG formats. I guess I can look through this list and at least get the ones that are here. Oh, FLAC, that's a good one. This is interesting because this is just like raw audio in a file. which isn't really demuxed. HLS, I just have to test that building HLS works. I guess, yeah. AAC as a format. Oh, WAV, of course. How do the MPEG named formats work? It's like MPEG TS, MPEG PS, GURPY. Interesting. MPEG is not called MPEG PS. I don't know why. Okay, just MPEG and MPEG TS, fine. Format MPEG at MPEG TS. I'm curious how big this is going to be, because it's like it's only formats. It doesn't. There's really not that much complexity in any of these. I do think I need some parsers in order for it to even be able to decode later, like to be able to get the extra data and such. I'm not confident of that, though. So these would be like MPEG 1 and MPEG 2 video. What other formats do you expect to find? MP4 implies M4A. Oh, right. MPEG 1. Let's call that good for now. The parsers must be under AV codec. So there's no way I want to put the parsers in there. I don't know if this is actually going to work. I might need a little bit more of AV codec in AVFC bridge, which I forgot to actually mention, in order for that to work, but one step at a time. So let's see if we can make a common formats build and see how big it is. Theoretically, this should not even attempt to link in. Certainly AV filter, certainly software resample, just it will link in AV codec because you can't avoid it. You need it for AV packet. But it shouldn't link in most of AV codec, only the packety parts. And it also shouldn't take that long to build because there aren't that many. Like the formats are genuinely simpler than everything else. I don't know whether you're going to need the parser. I have a sense that in order to get the extra data out, you'll need a parser. But maybe that's... No, yeah, you must. Because I needed the parsers in order to link the codec to web codecs. That's annoying because the parsers are definitely in libav codec. But the parsers are entirely implicit. So actually FC bridge should be sufficient. Like I should be able to use the parsers with FC bridge. I think. Really? You can't list your parsers? Like, seriously? It's just, okay, that's unhelpful. That is how implicit the parsers are. You're not allowed to know. It's so curious what things have or need parsers and what things don't. Like, VP8 and VP9 do. AV1 does. I guess MPEG-4 doesn't. Like, why? And yet H.263 does? Isn't H.263 just the same as MPEG-4, basically? Oh wait, no, there it is. There it does. So I'm going to have to choose some reasonable subset of these to have parsers for as well. But the parsers are also small, so I'm currently building a library that is utterly useless, and I will have to then build a library that is just useless, not utterly useless. Just normal, everyday useless. But I'm hoping that even though this has many more formats in it, it will be smaller than the default one we just built, just by virtue of the fact that it doesn't have all of AV codec. God damn it. I mean, it is smaller. I'm not wrong. It's, 1.5 meg versus 1.4 meg. Yeehaw. Well, I've become obsessed. I want to know whether like this is just a case of I got a little bit overboard with all the formats, and it would have been smaller if I just not tried to have every format in the world. So like, let's just have OGG, WebM, and WAV. That's it. So that I'm matching that. Obviously, I'm not going to keep a configuration named a few formats. Because if this isn't, like, markedly smaller, then this entire endeavor has been a complete waste. I guess one thing I didn't check was, like, did the exports list even work? Clearly not. This... I guess I didn't make it precious. Did it just delete it on the way? So this should not include, for example, AV codec open. Bunch of codec par stuff. Got open and format open. AVIO open, yeah, but no AV codec open. So the question is, did it actually use that? Like, why is it that exports default managed to stay around as if it's being kept precious, but exports common formats vanished? Because, like, if it still imported everything, then yeah, of course it would be chonky. I hate how make deletes intermediate files. It's really annoying. I wish that was just like a non-feature. Extreme cold warning ended. Thank you, Canadian Weather Service. Hooray! It's only cold, not extremely cold. This feels like it's building a lot of crap out of other places. What is happening? so it is using exports common formats. Definitely. Okay, let me try doing my uh, a few formats variant and see if that is actually smaller. And that will definitely be the end of the stream, since I am well over my normal duration for a dev stream. I mean, it might be worth keeping these changes even if they don't really affect the size at all, simply because uh, it is an improvement to like the source layout and such. And that apply funcs was a horribly complicated script that I now have as several scripts that do only one job instead of one script that does 50. So, like, it's not a regrettable change, but I am frankly annoyed. Okay. I mean, this is half the size. This is half the size of this. So it is working. I have many thoughts to think, but I'll think them later. Stream over.